Hey guys, so hypnotic language patterns are a fun thing, and we're going to talk about them in this video. Now, hypnosis isn't something that happens on stage or in an office. Well, it kind of is. So let me just turn this over to Mike Mandel.
Well, it is that. It's something that happens on stage for shows and in therapeutic offices, but it is more than that. It's much more, because hypnosis is happening all the time. I mean, really, it is. All of your communication contains elements of hypnosis.
It's kind of like breathing. We're doing it all the time. We're just not necessarily thinking about it much of the time.
Good metaphor there. Hypnotic conversation is really the language of influence, and every conversation is hypnotic to some degree, because people are listening to what you're saying. They go inside to make sense of what you're saying and begin to churn around the meaning, and it's happening all the time.
Right, so if it's happening all the time, why not do it more often on purpose? And that's where hypnotic language patterns come in and why they're so powerful, right?
Right, because hypnotic language patterns can lead people into new possibilities. They can open their minds. You can use them to influence and persuade.
And by the way, we talk about this kind of stuff in our free Facebook group, which is called Brain Software. You'll find a link in the description under this video so you can join that group. And if you're so inclined, we do have a deck of these hypnotic language cards, which are a lot of fun. You'll find them on our website on the products page. But enough about that. Let's talk about actual hypnotic language patterns.
All right, now in hypnotherapy or in daily conversations, hypnotic language works. And to make it work well, you have to be present. You have to be listening to the other person and engaging with them. You can't do it in an offhand sort of way.
Oh, you mean you can't just be off in your own head planning on what hypnotic language pattern you're going to use when you interrupt the other person and expect it to work?
Right. So here's the first pattern we're going to give you. I only want you to ... Oh, that's a powerful one.
I only want you to pay attention to the rest of this video.
Brilliant.
Because that's simple. It's only.
Right. And when you use the word only, it's like using the word just. It removes resistance. It sounds like you're asking almost nothing or nothing of any consequence.
It minimizes it. Right. It's like, I want you to. Oh, you want me to? Oh, but I only want you to.
Right.
It seems so easy.
In daily life, you could say, I only want you to come over and help me for a few minutes. Meanwhile, it's 3 hours later. Or in hypnotherapy, you can say, I only want you to relax and close your eyes now. Isn't that interesting?
There's so many good. I mean, it's up to you guys. I would love to see comments under this video where you can tell us your version of how you would use the I only want you to.
Right, be careful with this. What about the second pattern?
Yeah, we're going to get some hilarious comments. I look forward to it.
The second pattern is, I wonder if...
Oh.
Now, isn't that interesting? You're not telling the person
You're just
to
wondering.
do anything. You're just wondering.
Yeah.
You're only wondering about something. And when you're wondering, there's nothing to resist. Because you're not really forcing anything on the person. Now, in your daily life, you can say something like, I wonder if you'll find a reason to come with me tonight. Oh, okay, maybe. In hypnotherapy, you could say, I wonder if you'll search unconsciously for the answer now. You're just wondering, you're not telling them to do it. So again, we're removing resistance.
And keep in mind that the entire methodology behind what is commonly known as Ericksonian hypnosis is permissive, right? We're not instructing the person to do specific things, at least most of the time. We're just offering options. I wonder if we're considering something.
We're giving them a degree.
There's nothing to
resist.
resist.
Control. Right. Okay, pattern number 3. Chris, why don't you do this one?
All right, so a third pattern that we're going to talk about is a person may not know. Now, that's a nice one, right? Because, well, a person, which person? I'm not talking about you. You may not know, or you don't know, or you never know anything. No. It's the opposite of that. It's a person may not know, because people don't know all kinds of stuff. So when you say that a person, first of all, I'm not talking about you, so the subject relaxes or the listener relaxes, and they let down their guard, and then they are open to what you say next. A person may not know that it's actually useful to consume salt if you're drinking a lot of coffee. Oh, gee, right? We did a video on that recently.
So their mind relaxes because you're talking about a person, a hypothetical person, and it's much, much easier to get in. Okay, so give me an example from daily life.
Okay, so let's say you say, a person may not know, you're feeling very confident now. Now notice we've done two things here. First of all, we shift from a person may not know, grammatically shifting to now talking about you. You're feeling very confident, and we're using that as an embedded command. We have another video. We may as well throw up the card here so that you can click and watch our video on embedded commands. But an embedded command is just a nice thing that you can slip in. So I'll let you watch that video if you want.
Okay, now the fourth pattern is you might have noticed. Isn't that interesting? You might have, you might not have.
You might not. You're not
Notice
telling
what?
him one way or the other.
This instantly opens awareness and redirects the mind. It lets you move the person somewhere different from where they are right now. And in daily life, you could say, and now that dinner's arrived, you might have noticed how relaxed you are. What?
Yeah, or you might have noticed. You might have
person's
noticed
I am
that this is
relaxed
going to be a recipe you really enjoy. You know, you might have noticed you're surrounded by really brilliant people who are going to make a difference to your life. You might have noticed that this video is an example of the kind of content you'd get from the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy.
And you might have noticed that we're losing the thread and need to move on. Now, in hypnotherapy, you could use the same pattern and say, and in that deeper trance, you might have noticed you're already changing. The person goes inside, yes, I am already changing. I'm starting to notice that.
That's
It's
a really
wonderful.
nice pattern. All right, let's do one final pattern, the fifth pattern of this video.
Okay, take it away.
And let's go with what happens when. Now, we are presupposing some action is happening here, right? What happens when? It's not a question about if a thing will happen.
It's when it happens.
When it's not even when, it's what happens,
when,
right? We're thinking about what is the actual result of a thing that's about to happen. So let's come up with some ideas on how we can use this.
Okay, daily life, you could say, what happens when you realize how lucky you are? Say somebody's complaining a lot.
like
you say,
that.
what happens when you realize how lucky you are? Implying they are going to realize it. Something will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also say what happens when you notice what great friends you have.
Yeah, that's powerful. And in hypnotherapy, in a real session, you could say, what happens when you enjoy remembering that happy childhood event? What happens when you consider being free of all that sadness?
So the simple conclusion here is that hypnosis really is everywhere. And what happens when you start thinking about using these patterns? I only want you to start applying them right away because a person doesn't know how powerful you can become.
Oh, well done. 3 in a row.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the links in the description underneath it and join our free Facebook group called Brain Software. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks once again, and good night.
Good night.